What's your name?
Dennis Rousseau. Dennis E. Rousseau.
Okay.
Porky for short. There were 7 of us guys enlisted from our area here to go in. And went in, we had to be report in Fargo at a certain time. That was putting there about the 1st or the New Year's coming. And we had a little party that night out here. And the guy wanted to get paid for his eggs and toast. You know what I told him? Where to stick his eggs and toast. I'll give you one guess. Anyway, we went in the service. We went to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. That was, I think, about 51. We enlisted in 50, but we had reported on a Monday, I think it was. And we weren't there very long. We jumped on the train and went to Camp McCoy.
Was that in the Army?
Army, yeah, Army.
Okay.
And then we went to Fort Riley, Kansas. 3 days to get there. And we got our gear.
How did you travel?
What?
How did you travel? How did you get there?
Train.
Train, okay.
3 days to get there. Fort Riley, Kansas. No winter gear. We come back. We stayed there just overnight, got on the train, come back, 3 days back to Camp McCoy where we started training. And went in an artillery outfit, the 470 artillery. No, 155 long Tom field artillery. And I was the only guy that had the right MOS number for communications in the whole company, putting her 600 GIs. And we used to climb here in our area and do a lot of climbing when I was younger. And that was the deal. And then I was supposed to train a guy if I knew anything. And I knew how to climb, no worry. I climbed a lot of poles. And
Oh, you were pole climbing?
Pole climbing. We had to string all the lines for the observation post, you see. And that was, one time I had 38 miles of wire out. If you don't think that wasn't tough on the legs after a day's run,
Yeah.
let me tell you. And but I enjoyed it. That was part of my life. And then I went to school a little bit for the communications to handle, to tell the boys where to put those guns. And I had 3 guns to start with. They were long Tom field artillery. Then I used to get the shots from the observation post to me, then I'd relay it back to the guys that's going to pull the trigger. And that's what, then it didn't happen too long. About 2 lessons out, then I had 3 more guns to take care of. There were 6 guns, but they weren't all together. They were a little ways apart, but I have the guy that wired them up so I could talk back and forth to them, you see. And that's what we enjoyed it. And they were dirty. That was a dirty job in the back of those big bastards, because when they pulled the trigger, there was crap flying all over the place, you know. Then we were good about 4 or 5 rounds and had to reset them big bulldozers in the back because they were getting out of whack, you see. It was too much charge on them, but that's the way it goes. And we enjoyed it. I went to school for it, and I did a lot of studying on my own with them artilleries. I knew what they'd do. And I was telling that to a captain. He says, "Rousseau, how can you hit that target?" Well, I says, "You got to learn how to shoot those guns." And the guy looked at me and he laughed a little bit, he says, you know. And then we got all our training in. Then I used to go out on the rifle range that I called a shot for the rifle range too. That was part of my communication job, you see. And I enjoyed it, and it was colder than hell, 25 below zero. No gear.
What months were you there?
Camp McCoy, Wisconsin.
Huh?
Camp McCoy, Wisconsin.
No, but what months were you in Fort Riley? Must have been a wintertime, huh?
Camp McCoy is when we took the training. We just went to Fort Riley to get our clothes, and that was it.
Okay. Then you went to Camp McCoy, and that was
shipped us back next day.
And where's that at?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Toma. Okay. We used to shoot over Toma, Wisconsin. That was part of our shot. And anyway, no overshoes, just a pair of boots, no cafeteria laps. Used to put our towel over our head to go out. I never froze up, but boy, they took a lot of guys in the hospital that froze, you know. They didn't know any better. They come from the south, shit, what the hell is cold water. They found out what had hit them. And that was part of it. And the old captain come up to me and said, "Rousseau, are you cold?" No. I was double timing. There was no snow or anything because I used that ground to tap my feet on, you see. And we went good. I didn't mind the service too much. We did that gun and we shot him, and we couldn't believe and then we went out a couple of times on our own and zeroed those guns in. We used to shoot two sacks of powder behind that 99-pound slug. And we wanted to shoot a little flatter with that gun, but we needed a little more snooze behind her, you see. So we put 3 sacks. The guy said, "You're going to blow them guns up." I said, "There's 3 more new in the motor pool if we need them." It never hurt the gun, don't worry about that. And but that gun would shoot.
How long were you in Fort McCoy?
How long I was in? 3 years.
In Fort McCoy in Wisconsin, how long were you there?
I shipped out of there about, there was a snow and camp we had in Fort Riley, not Fort Riley, Camp Kilmer. That was New York, I think it was that. We all went there and we shipped out of New York, you see. And we were there for 5 days. The fog was so bad we didn't load, you see, because you couldn't see the hand in front of your face. And so we stayed there. We went to New York a couple of times, enjoyed it, and went and had a good time. And then from there, finally we got on the boat. General Pratt was the name of it. And I was lucky enough to get on a good boat. It was half dependents, you see. It was only 500 dependents on the rest of the GIs.
Where were you going?
What?
Where were you going?
To Germany.
To Germany?
Yeah, we
Okay.
head across the English Channel.
How many days were you on the boat?
Just 7 days and 7 nights.
7 days, okay.
Good run. And we got the English Channel that night. We heard a hell of a bang. We sideswiped under the boat. So we stopped there for about half a day. You had to inspect everything, you see. It wasn't no late. Finally we got going. And then we kept going. We landed in Bremerhaven, Germany. And we got in Bremerhaven, Germany. Well, I'll tell you the whole story. Back up a little bit. I got pushed out of the field artillery and went into 470 Engineers. 'Cause I was just a private, and the same guy that had the same MOS as me was a master sergeant, and he belonged to the colonel's son. It was related, see. And you know who got the axe. But I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it. And I figured we learned something new, you see. And I enjoyed every day of it. Then we went overseas and had a good trip. Going over on the boat, didn't mind it at all. And
Were a lot of people that got seasick, or did a lot of people get seasick, or?
no, going over was pretty good. We had a good boat.
Okay.
But coming home was hell. I tell you, some of them guys were in tough shape, I tell you. I mean, they didn't know how to take care of themselves. Then when we went overseas, I was in the 470 Engineers, and I went to school. We were in France for 10 months. I built all the platforms for the tent. When we moved in that place with mud and water, and when they stuck those little overnight sleepers, they went down to the first bar. Not the way it was. And then there was a bunch of nice material. We went there to service a company. It was another little company, and we were supposed to take care of the stuff. That was our job. We had everything we could possibly have. And all I done within 10 months was grease a set of duels.
So where were you in Germany at this time?
Well, we went to Toul, France. In Kaiserslautern,
France, okay.
We shipped to Kaiserslautern, Germany first. The town was complete wrecked. There was nothing. And then we weren't there too long, and they shipped the 3rd platoon to Toul, France. Well, that's the one to Toul, France. And I enjoyed Toul a little bit. The way you had to be a little careful with a few communists, and then threw a few guys overside over there. But when we went to town, was enough of us guys to take care of ourselves. Went to Paris a couple of times. We're 140 miles from Paris, so that was when we drank beer on top of the Eiffel Tower, 990 feet above the ground. You could feel that whole tower moving back and forth, back and forth. But we enjoyed it, and then we come back from there and back to Toul, France, and then I signed up to go to school. Because I went to school for welding and riggers course, and went to Bremerhaven, Germany. That's where Eisenhower had his headquarters. And well, the place where you could eat off the floor. We had 24 welders, all Hobarts, all DC welders, Well, it took 2 days before we even got a hand on the stick. And I could weld pretty good. I used to weld with rebards out there quite a bit when I was a kid, and that's where I learned to weld, and I enjoyed it. And finally, after the third day come, they brought us two little pieces of metal, about 6 inches. They welded us together. Well, some of the guys didn't even know where to put the stick in, you know. So then we welded the first one. He said, "What? Come in there and look. Rousseau, let's see your weld." Well, it was a nice job. I thought it was a nice job. It was a nice job. And he said, "What are you here for?" "I come to learn how to weld." Turned around, he walked away from me, never heard no more from him. Next day, we come on a job. He said, "Rousseau, we're going to put you on, you're going to weld cat rollers now. That's going to be your school." All I did was, for 6 weeks out of the 8, was weld cat rollers. Now, with my own boss, I had the forklift there. Whenever I got moving, I don't know how many 1,000 pounds of rods I welded. It was unreal. And we did a nice job. He's there doing good work. And whenever I get tired of welding, I could stop, go and have a break, have a coffee if I wanted to. Finally, after 6 weeks, I was only 2 weeks left of school. And it was a beautiful country right along the Alps down there, you know, crazy. There was fish down there jumping. I could have stayed there for another year. I could care less. Nice place, you know. But we enjoyed it, and that's where Eisenhower has headquarters, you see, Berchtesgaden, Germany. And we stayed there and got to school, finished the school, passed the school. He said, I said, "When you going to learn, you're going to finish school?" He said, "What do you want to learn? You better show me a little more overhead." He said, "I think you know about the water welding the way to." You got to be careful to weld overhead, because I said, you got to keep the close arc. You're going to get too far, because you'll get too much hot stuff. And that was, that was the end of that. And I finished school, I come back to Germany, and I went to motor pool, had 4 guys underneath me to weld. That was my job. And we had nothing to do. We had a nice big shop, you know. Boy, shit, we got tiresome. We can't stay in here very long. So I transferred it to the motor pool. And I seen old Spitty. And I says, "Spitty, I'd like to get into the motor pool." "What's the matter?" He said, "Don't you like your job?" "Yeah, it's okay." "Well, keep quiet. What are you crying for?" "I'm not crying. I'm just asking for a different job, something to do." I started with his name was Holmquist. He was in the service 20 years. He was broke 15 times. But he was a damn good guy, but he was a drunk, you see. And I stayed with him for 2 weeks. And finally I got a short nose tractor. Started with that. Then we got a month, and we got a brand new 10 tons. Then we started hauling, you see. 3 of us guys. It was me, a colored guy, and another guy from Zambrodia, Minnesota. We hauled all the stuff. That Kaiserslautern, Germany was all the headquarters for Europe. That's where all the stuff come out of. All the stuff was from the war. They redid it into the Germans. We had 900 Germans working on that depot. And there was everything from lawnmowers to D10 cats. He said, "Let me tell you, there was stuff." But it was all water beaten out there. They take them in, they sandbath them, cleaned them up, started them up. That was kind of fun.
Caterpillars?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the old Germans, they knew me pretty good, because I always had some coffee or cigarettes from them, and I used to eat their kielbasa. They had the steamers, you know, and that's all those nice bolognas to eat, so they knew that. But the old guys said, "You're eating too much." I said, "Never mind, just keep putting food on." So then we enjoyed that, and went to school for all that time. And on that tractor, we never got to Berlin. I asked old Smitty, "How come we don't go to Berlin?" That's when the wall was up yet. No, he said, "Never mind, Rousseau, just stay the hell out of there, don't go there." Well, I said, "We go where the papers show us to go." I said, "That's it." And that's a long ways across there. In 14 months, I put on 240,000 miles on that tractor, and it was a good machine.
How many?
240,000 miles
On a tractor?
on a 10-ton semi.
Oh, the semi, okay.
And we hauled, you see, the 3 of us guys. A lot of times we'd go double, a lot of times 3 times, sometimes 1. It all depends how much we had to haul, you see. But we enjoyed it. I had a German kid help me. His name was Gutenfried, a damn good kid, but he got better pay than I did. I was making corporal, you see, so that was the way it went.
You're corporal at this time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to tell you about how I got that corporal stripe, because our Captain McClure out of our company, he never knew. I knew it 2 weeks before he did that I made corporal. We had he was our boss in the shop to load all the stuff and get the papers made out for us, and he was a damn good guy. He said, "Rousseau," he says, "you know, you do a damn good job in driving that tractor. You never got no wreck, never hurt nothing, and you do machine is nice." But when we come in, I told that German, I said, "We licked this guy, this tractor. That's why I want to see it cleaned. With my head here, you do a good job. And she was a nice tractor. Never took a drop of oil. Nice machine. I hated to leave it, because I enjoyed it, you see.
Sure.
He was a good guy. And we rode together for a couple of years, being that German kid, but at the end of it, I never rode. He died after. He was a little older guy than me.
How long were you in Germany?
3 years.
3 years in Germany?
Huh?
You spent 3 years in Germany?
28 months over there in Germany.
28 months.
Yeah, out of my 3 year service, you see. And then to come to go home, well, our time come when we left France. I don't want to come back to Germany. And that's all it was. And the old sergeant says, Rousseau, we'd like to have you drive the staff car if you're home on the weekends. There's 2 brass that'd like to get to Frankfurt. Frankfurt was 100 miles from Kaiserslautern, you see. They just dropped off and that's the end of it. So this one guy from North Platte, Nebraska, used to come. His name was Leo Zav. He was a pretty good friend of mine. Well, he should have never did that, because sometimes we're out of range a little ways with that car. But we all did a good job. And he says, you know, Rosie, you're making, come on and take the test. I says, Sergeant, you know what you do with your test. I said, I'm not taking no more tests. I passed the test for the tractor, and that's all I'm going.
I should ask you at the beginning, but what years is this? You went into service what year?
51.
51?
We
You didn't
signed
say
up
that.
in 50.
Yeah.
And then it was, we had just over a month, we were in 51.
And you enlisted for 3 years? Okay.
54, we got out, you see.
What,
Now,
you enlisted with several other people?
oh yeah, from Argyle here.
Do you know their names? You remember their names?
Well, there was Clarion Stobin, damn good man. Clarion, I like Clarion. He told you as it was. Charles Anderson, Donnie Hedquist, we gave him his nickname, Sparrow was his nickname. And then there was Tough Levine, and then there was Daniel Gondrowski, and Dennis Rousseau, that's me. You see, we're short one, there was 7 of us. That's 7, I guess. Yeah. And there was only 2 of us left, me and Daniel Gondrowski.
Okay.
Daniel called me up the other night. That's the only time I ever get the chance to talk to the phone if I'm standing close to it, because otherwise my wife said, give me that phone. So I laugh at your wife. You're lucky that you got a wife. Ma's got good talents to her, but she got some bad ones too. Never get it straightened up. It's been like that for 65 years. My birthday was last Friday. I was 90 years old now, and I feel pretty good yet, not bad. But I'm scratching my head if I should go deer hunting or not, because that cold weather, I don't think I like it too much now.
So you came back from Germany.
We come back from Germany. We left Bremerhaven, Germany, and we got on a ship that should have been sunk by the Japs. General Hershey was her name. With 2,700 troops in that thing. And there was 10 boats in there, SS United States. You ever hear of the SS United States?
No.
They crossed the Atlantic in 3 days, some hours, you know, but not us guys. We were the first guys to leave Bremerhaven. Those guys, people, Christ, there was boats all over the place waiting to load up, but the fog was so heavy, we couldn't load, you see. When we were the first guys to leave, so we were at Bremerhaven, the SS United States went to Bordeaux, France to load up after we left. She passed us the first day out at sea, you see. You seen her within an hour, she was gone, hey. She was
Did you go over to Germany as one unit or just by yourself?
no, all alone.
You were alone?
Oh yeah, the other 4 guys stayed together for all the time.
Yeah.
And the first,
But when you went over, were you in the same unit as you trained with, or?
no, I wasn't the 470 engineers, you see.
Yeah.
When I come back, we'll come on a pass. We come back to Fort Riley. No, Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. The old first sergeant Rousseau, I'd like to go overseas. Well, you ain't got much choice. The papers are made out. So that was it, you see.
Yeah.
Either me or that master sergeant, and he was son-in-law to the colonel, so you know who got the axe.
So you got back to the States, and were you mustered out then, or did you still have some time?
We out in Fort Sheridan, Illinois. The plane, the train, when we come back, well, I gotta tell you the rest of this. When we come back, that ship, John Hershey was nothing but a pile of junk. You know, we ate out of tables this high, with all lined with galvanized. You know, and I can see why it was galvanized, because some of the guys were throwing up the plane to come back with full of, you know what, the heave, and it was a hell of a mess. And it was a mess all over the place. And we had guys that laid in their bunks for a week, where the juice was leaking out and was green. Eh? You couldn't tell them that because they wouldn't listen. If you're sick, you got to look to help yourself, you know. And finally, the old best sergeant, that the first day, the best all was a mess. He said, "We need some help." And there were 38 of us guys in my compartment. And there was 35 of us. We volunteered and got to know each other. I told that one guy, "Let's volunteer for that mess hall duties." He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah. What are you going to do? Go out there and look at the water? At least we got something to do." Okay, then 35 of us did the work. The other 3 didn't want to know part of it. So that was all right. We enjoyed the trip. Took
Kept
us
yourself busy.
12 days, 12 nights to come back at that Hershey. We hit that storm. She was boom. She was coming out of the water. You know. They said they claimed they shut everything off, the boat completely, and they said the waves were about 7 foot deep. And I believe it, because boy, when it took one day off to open up the first ones were the officers. When they opened up that, then we got a chance to go out to see some of them big waves, and boy, they were huge, them bastards. That old tub, I thought she was going to break in half, but she made it, made it off. Yeah, we enjoyed the service. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it.
And then you got mustered out, and then you came back to Argyle, or?
Yeah, we come back to Argyle, and I did a little construction for a while. Then I went to Alaska in 1959 and enjoyed that all. I went to California. I worked that winter for Dottie Maxwell. He's still alive. He married Simon Booter's daughter. But she died, but I think Donnie's still alive. Damn good guy to work for. And he paid the union scale. He said, "Rousseau, you don't have to go back to Minnesota. Stay here. You do a good job for me to have you here." He said. And I enjoyed it. We stayed at my sister's place over there. There's only me and my sister left in the family out of the 7 of us, you see. Mm. Yeah, but we enjoyed it. Come back, and then we worked for the city a little while. I wanted to go back to Alaska in 59. That was the place to make $1, and I enjoyed every day of it over there. It was good fishing, good hunting, and hell, we built 5 houses for one guy from Oceanside, California. Then I built a house for a guy on the side from Tennessee. And then that was something else. He's never seen a house go up that fast. I had 4 days a week to work on it. You see, 2 weekends we shingled it. He said, "I never seen a house go up that fast." And him and his wife, they had the 4 Eskimos they had, and they stopped to see us after the year we left. They were driving a VW when we lived in Wendy Anderson's house on the corner where Adolphson lives, you know. That's where we lived when we come back. That we built. We bought 2 acres of land from out there, from Frank Kurz, and then we built a new home out there, yeah. That's where we've been there for 45 years or more. 75 and 76. I think we moved in 76, yeah. Yeah.
Is anything during your military career you'd have done different, or wish you'd have done something else, or?
No, we never did. Went to Paris a couple of times. That was the only thing we went. They never went too far.
Sounds like you enjoyed your military life.
I didn't mind it. We had a job to do, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was the best seamster around there. I did a lot of tailoring for people in our company, and showed a lot of patches on. We had an old sewing machine, an old singer, and I tailored a lot of clothes. And this Major Wilson was one of our majors, and damn good guy. And I went to see him. The other crew was 4 of them. They were in Ansbach, Germany. That was about 300-400 miles from me, you see. I took 5 days off, went over to see him. And they weren't going to feed me at the mess hall. They said, "You don't belong to this outfit." And they were the old crew. They remembered me, you see. And we had a little guy who was a corporal, but he was a pain in the you-know-what. And when we went on the practice, when it was time to throw our hand grenades out, there was a lot of snow. Damn hand grenade hit the snowbank and rolled back down there. And this Captain McClure, he jumped down there with his helmet, killed that, blew all the sides of the helmet out. He come out, he was blue. I'll never forget that. I was next in line because I said, "That must have been a pretty good sized hand grenade. He's throwing a lot of mud." Yeah, what a good experience. The best experience was when one the infiltration course when they shoot over the top of you, you know.
The hand grenades at that time were the pineapple hand grenades. The hand grenades were pineapple hand grenades at that time, weren't they?
I don't know what they were, but they were throwing a lot of shit.
They weren't the baseball hand.
No.
Yeah.
And but that was that was the real stuff then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shot over you about 18 inches, you know. Some guys couldn't make it, you know. And it just poured that night, you know. God damn it, just they're coming down, raining. Them goddamn Christmas bullets are hitting that fence, you know, going up and down. Well, I don't know if anybody ever got hurt, but yeah, they quit shooting a few times, you know. But no, we enjoyed the service. I didn't mind it at all. I didn't mind the service at all.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Porky, or
Huh?
is there anything else you want to add to this, or?
Well, not that I know of. I don't know what you ever did to that Gentle Hershey, if they sunk her or not, but she took 2,700 troops back home anyway.
Yeah.
Run a snowstorm on the way out of New York about a mile out, and she just stormed, you know. We figured with the end coming, we got there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well,
Then when we boarded the train that night, had our numbers. If you got on the train, and I happened to get on the first train that night, and I was heading for Fort Sheridan, that's by Chicago, in north of Chicago. That's where we got discharged, you see. A lot of them jumped out when they got to Chicago. They jumped out they didn't even wait to get discharged. Hey, I couldn't believe that. Why the hell couldn't they wait and do their job like they're supposed to, you see?
yeah. Well, Porky, you're well respected in the community of Argyle,
Huh?
and you're well respected in the community of Argyle, and I thank you for doing this interview. Thank you. Porky.
Well, we tried to do a good job down here, but a lot of people didn't appreciate it. We were dug all new water lines in for them over here one year out the country. Being old Sparby was one of our better helpers I had. He was a good guy. We could make work together, and damn good man. But we had a crew then put that in, but that didn't take us long. We dug that all in with a little 300 John Deere with a 2-foot bucket. We had to. The lines were shot. You see, we had to do something.
Yeah.
Frank Hurst was our mayor when I first started. He was a damn good man to work with, you know. You could have a meeting on the street. What he said went. He was an old German, and he was a damn good man. Yeah, I enjoyed Frank. That's who we bought the land from when we built the home on. He never sell to nobody else. You're the only guys getting anything, so.
Okay, Porky, thanks for the interview. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.